This video is going to show you how to make beams out of either a cracker box or a cereal box, or you could use cardstock, which is what I'm going to use right here. You'll need your stock material. You could use paper, but you have to use multiple sheets and it would not be as strong as one of these two. A manila folder would also work, or poster board would work, thin poster board. Foam board, no foam board. You will also need a magazine or a stack of papers to write on, and don't do it directly on a hard surface. You need something soft because you're going to make little creases in the paper in the magazine top. You'll also need some scissors, tape, straight edge of some kind, and a ballpoint pen. So you need something that's got a ballpoint pen to it. You do not want to use like a felt tip marker or even a gel pen. Something that's a ballpoint pen is what you're going to want to use. Alright, so let's get started. I'm not going to use the box today, we'll use this. So here I have some paper, and on the paper I've got tick marks on it, and the tick marks are about every 1/4 of an inch. I could have done 3/8 of an inch. 1/2 inch might be a little big, but 1/4 inch seems to work really well right across there. Then I'm going to put it on top of my magazine. I have to put it diagonally because my little flyer is not long enough. Straight edge will go from mark to mark, and then what I'll do is I'll draw a line along the length of the paper. Here's a line. Here's a line. Now these lines are actually going to be creases in the paper. So it's going to make folding this thick paper cardboard easier. And I'll do this across the whole piece of paper. When I'm done, I'll have something that's like, actually, it'll look like this. It's kind of windy out here today. It'll look like this. And if you flip it over on the back, I don't know if you can tell, but you can feel the creases and you can see the lines from the magazine. So I was pressing kind of firm when I was drawing those lines, but not too firm to go through the whole sheet of paper. So now that I have these, at the top you'll see that I have them numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each group of 5 is going to be a column, a square column that I'm going to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out over to right next to the 5, right next to the 5, right next to the 5. So I'll take my scissors and I'll go ahead and I'll cut those out. And when I cut those out, I end up with something like this. So here's my first one. You can see the numbers 1 through 5. And the first 4, that's going to be the 4 sides of the column, and the 5th one is going to be for overlap. So there's my overlap there. Now what I'll do is I'm going to fold it along the lines that I drew. So they form little creases. And that'll give me nice straight lines when I fold it. So let's fold them all. And that's all 4. And then when I fold it up, I don't know how well you can see all this, but because I measured everything carefully, because I drew my lines carefully, it'll make a nice square column. So I don't know if you can see how well you can see the end of that, but it's a nice square column on the end. And I'll work the paper a little bit just so it folds nice and easy. And then I'll take a piece of tape. So in this case, I'm using some bright tape. You can use any tape you want to. I'm using this just because it shows up. You see where I'll be able to put it on the paper itself. So I'll take this, my column. I have that piece that's got overlap on it, and that's important. And then what I can do is I can fold it, and I can actually flatten it. So you can see how I flattened it. So I went ahead and flattened it, then I'll put the tape on it while it's flattened. And then I can pop that up into a square. And now with the tape on it, I've got a square beam. I'll put some more tape on the other end of it to make it all nice and firm, but that's my square beam. And then I can cut it to fit. Now if I had paper instead of cardstock, I don't know that I'd use the square beam, so I might make more of a tube instead of the square beam. But now I've got a resource that I can build from.